Good evening, baseball fans. This is Wednesday, March 20th. I'm all discombobulated because of all of the things that we've just now witnessed on Twitter for the last, I don't know, like 2 hours. So, anyway, I'm Susie. That is Kelsey. This is Bourbon and Baseball. I should warn you, this is going to be a rated R show. So, if you got little ones or if you yourself are not a fan of cuss words, then you should just probably not be here because we definitely have alcohol this episode. No bourbon, though, but that's okay. Turn the label, Kels. So
the can is pretty.
We've decided, and by we, I mean I have just made a general decision that we are going to turn tonight into a drinking game. And basically, if and when the other person disagrees with whatever you're saying, you just take a drink. You don't even have to say anything. You just take a drink. But I will say, though, that I'll probably just drink randomly. So I may have to actually say, no, I disagree with you. Maybe it has to be like an extra long drink. I don't know. We didn't really think about this very long. I just thought that it would be fun as the night progresses, because the takes will get more awesome.
For sure.
We're going to go with. Yeah.
For sure. And maybe that goes for comments in the chat too. So if you're listening and you have a hot take, you have an opinion, we'll drink for your takes that we don't agree with as well, if we have to.
Oh, yes, definitely. If you guys are here, there's 11 of you here, apparently. I can't tell on Twitter. If you're there on Twitter, hi, drop an emoji. I don't know. But if you're here on YouTube, drop a comment, drop an emoji, say hello, make sure that we know that you're here. And do you want to start with the news that you texted me? And I'm sorry, what? I literally was trying to cook dinner for my child and I burnt it on the stove.
Oh my gosh.
Reading the news about Shohei.
Yeah. So initially there was a breaking report from Los Angeles news sources.
I think it was LA Times, which is
like
reputable,
a legitimate source, saying that Shohei Ohtani's attorneys are accusing his interpreter of, quote, massive theft tied to alleged gambling. And so this, of course, is Ipe that we all know and love. And I was like, oh my gosh, there he is in the dugout watching the game this morning in Korea. And now he's been fired by the Dodgers. And all these other things are coming out of. When I told my husband about it, he was like, okay, but how did he steal money from Shohei? And so now am I maybe hearing that it wasn't exactly that he stole money, like maybe Shohei transferred him the money to try to help pay off his gambling debts?
So the second, third, fourth report that I read, apparently Shohei transferred $4.5 million in a couple of different transactions for the bookie. Like Shohei did not trust eBay enough to give eBay $4.5 million.
Yeah.
So he paid the bookie directly.
Oh shit.
And there lies a problem. So my whole thing about this is I really think that Shohei maybe didn't realize that paying off an illegal bookie would be frowned upon / really illegal / really against the rules of MLB, and is such a good friend that he's going to pay for eBay and take care of eBay and then get him the help that he needs. At least that's what I really want to believe. I really want to believe this.
Yeah.
And then now, after eBay made these statements to ES, I think it got back and they were like, oh shit, Shohei's going to get fined, or Shohei's going to get suspended, or Shohei's going to get in trouble for this somehow. I don't actually know what's going to happen to Shohei. Or if at all. But then it got walked back. eBay was like, oh, JK, I stole it all. Like, what? eBay is just hacking into shit?
I mean, he might just be saying that because he knows. He might have realized it's the only way to protect Shohei.
So now eBay's going to have to take the fall for Shohei, and then Shohei's just going to have to put money into his commissary account in prison and make sure that he gets protection in prison. I need a 30 for 30 about this.
Yeah. We're going to need Diane Sawyer on it. Stat. So yeah, I mean, we'll keep you updated. Here we've got an update from Kay in the chat. ESPN said Shohei paid from his personal computer with Ipe standing behind him. Oh God, it still doesn't make it okay. And I guess all I'm thinking is poor innocent Shohei, because that's our view of him, right?
Right.
Oh, geez.
How did we go from we don't know shit about Shohei to all of a sudden Shohei has a dog, and then all of a sudden Shohei is married, and now Shohei is wrapped up in a gambling scandal? How did we go from that to this?
This is what happens when you sign with the Dodgers. He asked for this. The level of media scrutiny and attention and investment in him is tenfold. There was that bomb threat too that was associated with him at the Korea series. I'm like, can you imagine being this man right now? Like, his wife is being introduced to the world for the first time and people are obsessing over that, like on Taylor Swift levels, and the bomb threat, and now the gambling scandal. And you're just trying to play in perform after signing the largest contract in sports history. So no big deal.
Maybe the New Balance deal will take care of all of it, is my
I
mind.
thought it interesting what you said to me when we were texting about this, that like, why didn't he bring it up to someone within the organization that probably would have known how to handle it
Right.
just to make sure that it never got to even
Yeah.
this point.
There's somebody on the payroll that has some ridiculous title and you're all, "What do you do for the team?" And it's the fixer. It's the fixer
Mhm.
for the team. Like that everybody that there's gotta be one. All the teams got one. So why did Shohei not be excuse me, sir?
Yeah,
What's going I don't I have s it the math is not mathing,
right.
and so there's actually something wrong.
With the
We have to
kind
do
of
something.
money that Shohei Ohtani is managing, I can't imagine that any sum, let alone millions of dollars, gets moved without multiple people being aware of it on some level. So that's just another piece of it that is strange.
Yeah. I have no idea. Chat, what do you guys think? Do you have thoughts on this,
Yeah,
Kay?
is this
Like
Shohei in
Astroworld?
trouble
Wh
or
Or is Ippei the fall guy? Or does Shohei have a gambling problem? If Shohei has a gambling problem, I don't know what will. The sports world will implode
no?
in on itself.
That would be worse than me finding out at 12 years old that Santa Claus isn't real. So I don't think I can handle that. So yeah, I really hope Shohei's hands are clean. And I don't know that it's just some drama that will be out of the way before the regular season gets really in full swing because, oh, these are not the kind of headlines that we want to be talking about around our
I
sport right now.
That's what I need to know. And then the MLBPA is, like, gonna explode.
Yeah.
So, the it's not even opening day, y'all, like, and we got all of the drama. Does eBay get thrown out of the team hotel?
Oh, shit. Yeah, because they're in Korea.
Does he
Yeah,
need to
I mean,
find his own way
I
home?
would assume what I do know, even in I was working there and they were, like, fired for, like, essentially stealing from the company. When that happened, it was like once they told them they were fired, someone had to escort them around the premises to collect their things and make
Well,
sure they left. So
so
I would assume someone is, like, overseeing until he's fully disconnected from I'm sure it's a whole process.
in one of the articles, it did say that Ippei stood up in the clubhouse in Korea and told everybody that he has a massive gambling problem
Oh,
and that there was gonna be a story that was gonna come out. So, Astro Wharf Craig says the Yakuza is calling. Okay, so I don't know. We'll keep you guys apprised when we know stuff. Obviously, if you don't live under a rock and you are also on Twitter, you can follow along too. But
let us know if there's
it's
any
just
breaking updates as we
yeah.
get into it here.
So we've talked about the $4.5 million elephant in the room. Kels, why don't we go over the teams and we'll start with the National League.
Yeah, so we're going to go through all 30 teams tonight. We will give you their Fangraphs projected record, and we're going to give you an overview of the moves they made in the offseason, and then just talk a little bit about kind of our thoughts or predictions for this team in 2024 before we really get going here. So let's start with the NL East. We've got the Braves predicted to finish in first place with a 97-65 record. The Atlanta Braves did plenty this offseason, even though they maybe didn't need to. They signed potential starter or swingman Ronaldo Lopez. They added Joe Jimenez? And
Jimenez, yeah.
and Aaron Bummer to their bullpen, and they traded for a potential high-end starter, maybe once again, Chris Sale, and outfielder Jared Klenick. So, yeah, I mean, they definitely got better, even though they were one of the best teams in baseball last season and have been for a while. Susie, is there anything that stands out to you that will differentiate the Braves this season from last?
They signed Adam Duvall as well, and I really wonder if that was because Jared Kelnick is not doing what they thought he could do. I was really hoping that the change of scenery was going to help him and not feel all of the pressure because he's the tiny of cogs in that massive lineup. So
Definitely, yeah.
they're going to win a lot of games. I need to know if Acuna steals. Does he hit 50, 45 homers?
No. Oh, man. I
He
mean,
hit
that is
41.
definitely that's gonna be, of course, one of the most exciting things, I think, again, this season, because I do think he will have another phenomenal year. Will it live up to last year or even potentially beat it in some instances will be very fun and interesting. And, okay, it's Jared Kelenic.
Kelnick.
I totally agree with you. He has, for whatever reason, not reached really major league potential, whether it was with the Mariners and now in spring training, not been great, even though we're trying not to overanalyze that. So that'll be an interesting piece for them to see how Chris Sale fits into that rotation and whether he's an every fifth day kind of guy can only make a really good starting staff even better. Braves are going to be fantastic again this year. We'll see how far they can get into the postseason.
I have a very important question, though, for you about the Braves.
Yeah.
How tight does Spencer Strider's pants get this season?
It really depends on if he can alter them the same way that he's been able to before. I heard they're not as customizable. Exactly.
But they're also thinner. So
yeah.
Are we going to have another Padres player situation on the I really hope not, but Spencer Strider in his medium baseball pants it'll be an interesting watch.
Yeah, so biggest things to look for are, I would say, how Renato Lopez and Chris Sale respectively fit into the rotation, and will Spencer Strider split his pants? Or how many times? What's the over-under there?
There you go.
Let's move on to the Phillies here, because I found this kind of interesting. The Phillies are predicted for an 85-77 record, which is so much worse than the Braves. I think the Phillies might win a few more games than 85, personally, this year. They locked up co-aces Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola in the offseason. They also signed super utility man Whit Merrifield, who seems like a great fit for their roster. They're just jam-packed with superstars and guys who are high on vibes. What's your take
the same
on
team,
85
though, right?
wins? It is, but they had a really slow start last season. An uncharacteristic play from Trey Turner. I mean, just Trey Turner having a different start to his season, first whole half of his season alone, could earn them a few more wins for sure.
Well, maybe if the Philly fans clapped for Trey Turner to begin with, it would not have been such a big deal. I'm just saying. That's Philly fans. That's on you.
I'm going to go to a Phillies game for the first time in a week or so, and I am very interested what the vibe is going to be like, because part of me thinks like I'm going to be obsessed and I'm going to fit right in with the Phillies fans, and part of me is terrified.
I'm still confused on what was their record last season?
That's a great question. I think it was about there.
Was it the same?
I got it right.
We're very professional here, people. That's why we have the alcohol.
Oh, no. They won 90 games last season. Come on. You really think they're not going to win as many games as they did last season?
No. And then,
isn't Bryce hurt got like, ooh, maybe. Yes. I mean, I don't think
he's like hurt.
But yes, there is. He's having some back troubles, which he struggled with all last season. Even so, I don't know. I'm not going to say they got better, because when you pay players, you already have more money. You don't get better. But they're just as good and probably more settled in and familiar with specific roles, and everybody, I would think, is just vibing even more. The Phillies' time is coming. Yeah. That's what I feel in my heart.
Okay, well, the vibes, we're big vibes people here, right? Like,
what do you think?
Ranger Suarez is a sneaky good 3. I hate to admit that, but he is.
Absolutely.
They have Taijuan Walker as their 4th starter and Christopher Sanchez as their 5th starter. And maybe it's just recency bias, because Christopher Sanchez, like, I just saw Christopher Sanchez carve up my lineup, but I feel like Christopher Sanchez is a better pitcher than Taijuan Walker right now. But again, maybe that's just recency bias. Again, I don't watch a ton of Phillies.
I got a drink on
baseball. That's fair. That's fair.
First thing you've said that I could maybe disagree with a little bit, but time will tell. 162 games will tell. Mostly, I want to hear from the chat, if you're listening, whether you're live or not. Do you think the Braves are going to win that many more games than the Phillies? They won 14 more games than the Phillies last season. But I would be interested to see if that gap is a little bit closer this season. There is another pretty substantial gap between the 3 and 4 spots here for predictions in the NL East, as you might anticipate. The Marlins and the Mets are both predicted to have an 80 and 82, so under 500 season. Let's start with the Marlins. They signed shortstop Tim Anderson out of free agency. They signed a free agent. Josh Bell, first baseman, big power hitter, did pick up his player option, so he is sticking with them. But Jorge Soler did not, so they lost that power bat in the lineup, which was one of their only real power bats in the lineup. And as you heard us talk about on this past weekend's episode, they also have some major injuries in their stellar but young starting rotation. So Braxton Garrett, Yuri Perez, and Edward Cabrera are all currently injured, with pretty unclear timelines on their return to health and to the field. Is this going to be the downfall of any potential that the Marlins had to be competitive for a playoff spot?
I think so, because they were really hoping that, like, all of those young arms were going to either stay the same as they did last season or hopefully take a step forward.
Yeah.
And the fact that Jesus Luzardo, now don't get me wrong, Jesus Luzardo is a very good pitcher, but the fact that, like, Jesus Luzardo has to be like the opening day starter, you're all, wait, what happened there? So the Fangraphs roster resource has Jesus Luzardo, AJ Puck, Trevor Rogers, Ryan Weathers, and Brian Hoeing as their rotation. AJ Puck literally carved the Astros up 3 days ago. I didn't have that on my baseball bingo card. I'm sorry, AJ Puck, where did you come from? Oh, I know, the A's. But regardless, how
did
did, like,
see it coming?
I didn't see it coming. And the fact that he got moved from the bullpen to the starting rotation, you're all, oh, okay. So I don't know, but that bullpen in and of itself, though, is ridiculous and dirty, I want to say, but like in a good way. You know what I'm talking about, people.
Yeah, yeah.
But Tanner Scott as their closer, you're all, who's Tanner Scott? It's just another arm that the Marlins are going to bring up that is just going to just throw like dirty changeups and sliders, and you're all, oh, cool.
Yeah,
So
you'll know who he is by the end of the season, especially if they win as many one-run games as they did last season, and that's where I'm on the fence. I think there's a chance that things align well enough for them. I love Josh Bell. I love Jake Berger. I think he's somebody who's like really just getting in his stride in the major leagues, and I hope that he becomes more and more of a household name in baseball, and he can make a big difference in their lineup. Obviously, Luis Urias is a guy that anybody would kill to have in their lineup.
do you think Luis Urias gets the batting title?
Again, ooh,
Maintains? Because he didn't get it I mean, what did he get this last season? Because he didn't win it.
he did, yeah.
Did he win it? Oh, okay.
The whole thing was actually to see if he would ever get to
400.
400, which he did not, but I mean, that would just be
Right?
insane.
Oh, he ended with a paltry 317. Like, that's but,
Yeah, so I think he absolutely will be in the top 3 for batting average again, for sure. I think he's that kind of consistent, and it's just I don't know, the Marlins are so interesting to me because they have some pieces that you could build a team around, but the pieces that are weak are so weak that
right.
it really just can't the stars and the strong ones can't necessarily make up for it. But I love Skip Schumacher. I love their coaching staff. And I would love to see them sneak into another wild card spot, but they might have to have that one run win luck. Go for it.
Well, I mean, it's gonna lead into the Mets because
Yeah.
you said that the Mets and the Marlins are gonna end with the same exact record,
Yeah.
and at no point in time can you convince me that that's gonna happen. Like,
Just as Steve
that
Cohen drew it up. The Marlins and the Mets.
I mean, you got Pete Alonso over there, you got Francisco Lindor over there. You cannot convince me that lineup of the Mets plus Edwin Diaz coming back is not gonna affect the record.
I don't know. I mean, the thing is the starting rotation, right? But after losing Verlander and Scherzer at the deadline last season, which was a huge storyline in 2023 baseball lands, the almost $400 million Mets are building a different kind of starting rotation this year. They've got Jose Quintana is back and healthy, but he's on the wrong side of 30. Not a huge strikeout guy. And they've added free agent starters Luis Severino looking for a bounce back, as well as Sean Manaea. I'm not somebody who like sees a guy and is whoa. Like that's just not I'm not a super like superficial type of person. It's not the first thing I notice about people, but I saw him and I was like, "Excuse me, sir, where have you been under all of that hair?" Yeah, it was shocking. But
the
yeah,
real question is, how much smaller did his hat size go down? Because he
ooh,
didn't
that's
have
a
4
good
pounds of
question.
hair to deal with. That's
Sean, if you'd like to come on the show, we have the hard-hitting questions here for you.
yeah. Aaron Blue Shirts Banter says 85 wins for his Mets.
I believe it, Aaron, because I do think the Mets will be at least 80 wins. Maybe I can't remember what they finished at last season, but I think they'll be better than they were last year, which is crazy because last year was like the year that they were in the Dodgers conversation of we spent all this money, we loaded up in every way, and we're going to make it happen. But sometimes when you have to be scrappy and more strategic, that's when things come together. And I think they might have a better shot, at least having more wins this year than last year. What do you think?
Okay. I don't know. The Mets make me drink. Just by and large, the Mets
It
make me
definitely
drink.
makes me drink that they added Harrison Bader as a glove first center fielder, my precious Harrison Bader. But as you mentioned, they have stars like Francisco Lindor, Brandon Nimmo, Pete Alonso in the middle of their lineup, and their superstar closer, Edwin Diaz, is back, which was a huge blow for them last season.
Not in a good way, people.
Not the
I think that the boost that Edwin Diaz gives, just him in and of itself and hearing those trumpets, I think that's gonna get the boys fired up and they're gonna be like, fuck it, we ride, let's go.
Yeah. I'm looking at the projected payrolls for this season, and the New York Mets and the Miami Marlins set to finish by Fangraphs predicted to finish in the same place. There is almost $200 million difference between their payrolls.
Just a little bit deeper and twist the knife, read how much money is not going to players on their team.
Right. That too. I mean, that's the part that really hurts, right? Oof. Well, we'd be remiss not to mention the Washington Nationals, which are also in this league, but they are projected to win 66 games, 6-96 record, which sadly sounds about right. This offseason, you may have missed it, but they signed outfielder or maybe DH Joey Gallo to a one-year deal with mutual option for 2025. They also hired former Major League pitcher Sean Doolittle as a pitching strategist. And the thing I want to keep my eye on this season for the Nationals is they have a pretty exciting young shortstop, CJ Abrams, with some other guys in the mix there as well. But Abrams is expected to have a breakout kind of year. Is there anything about the Nationals that you are excited to watch for this season?
No. You've named literally the only 2 players I know on the Nets from memory. If I pulled up their roster, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, no, I recognize some of these names." Like, Lane Thomas, I think, is gonna be sneaky good for him,
Yeah.
but really and truly, you're all I think that's all I know. And
I
Nat
couldn't
fans, I'm so
mention
sorry.
I couldn't mention Lane Thomas because Cardinals fans are still so fucking salty about Lane Thomas having any
Oh,
level of success.
wait,
They
why?
also did because he was traded away. I can't even remember. This is how people are gonna be so mad that I don't remember because
Come
it was
on.
not a good trade. But the point is, it didn't work out well for the Cardinals, and he's just another one of kind of the trail of outfielders that has left and had more success elsewhere. That
Okay.
Richie Palacios is gonna be Tyler O'Neill. Like, just keep it coming. We've got a whole slew of players that I'm sure we'll see that continue to happen with, but that happens with every team. And I don't know other fan bases, if you feel like your fan base is like this, but the Cardinals in particular have a really hard time letting go of trades that didn't work out really well. Come on, they traded for Nolan Arenado and the Rockies are paying so much of his salary, and it was just, I mean, a ridiculous deal that never ever happens. And obviously, we're happy about that. But literally every other trade that's ever happened we will never live down. And I'm just like, we can be happy for these guys to have success elsewhere. And one other player, former Cardinal, that I really hope we see have some success with the Nationals is Juan Yepes, who was up and down from
Oh,
AAA to the bigs the last couple seasons. He has a great potential as a power right-handed hitter, but he's not super valuable anywhere in particular on the field. And I don't know, he may find himself a home somewhere in that Nationals lineup these days. We'll see if he makes the roster. But how do you feel about their manager, Dave Martinez?
all I really remember about Dave Martinez from last season was that he got really mad and almost fought Dusty Baker.
I really like him, and I think it's weird to me that they are clearly like invested in him. They keep extending him and are not invested in anything else. But obviously, he's a lot cheaper of an investment than other things these days. But I do think that they are holding on to him until they have a better handle on what they have in their farm system and what kind of excitement they have coming up till they really start to rebuild. But that is where they're at right now. Have yet to really start their rebuild, or they're in no man's land.
Victor Robles, their center fielder, robbed Jeremy Pena of a straightaway center field home run
Mm.
in the last spring training game. Now, I need you guys to know that Jeremy Pena has not hit a home run since July 5th of last season. So the fact that Victor Robles stole it, it just
Brutal.
made me very sad. Made me very sad. Wharf Craig says they all can't be Ernie Brolia for Lou Brock.
Exactly.
This is hashtag before baseball Susie. So I have no idea who these people are.
Well, that's it. You don't know who Lou Brock is?
No. Is he up there with Andrelton Simmons?
No. You know who Stan Musial is?
Yes, I know who Stan Musial is.
Okay, Lou Brock is up there in the Stan
Okay.
level of conversation.
Okay.
So anyway, that's a perfect trade compare. That's exactly what I'm talking about. They can't all be those kinds of trades. And every team has the same success and lack of success in the long run. Since we're talking about the Cardinals already, let's hit up the NL Central. The Cardinals are predicted by the skin of their teeth to win the NL Central with a whopping 83 wins, 83 and 79. But yeah, here we are in the Central Division. So the Cardinals, if you missed it, they signed top of the rotation pitcher Sonny Gray as a free agent, along with veteran innings eaters Lance Lynn and Kyle Gibson to solidify a truly ancient starting rotation. They did add some swing and miss to their bullpen with free agent reliever Keenan Middleton. Unfortunately, he has a forearm strain, and we all know that means a month or two or more. So that's a bummer. But they did make that move, and they do have a lot of promising young talent at the plate in the likes of Jordan Walker and Nolan Gorman, and defensively with Mason Wynn at shortstop. They prioritized adding veteran leadership vibes with Matt Carpenter and Brandon Crawford to keep the average age of the team well into the 30s. And all in all, I do think the defense and the depth behind their pitch to contact rotation should be improved from last season, especially if we can get some guys healthy and rely on more consistency there. So that's where I'm trying to turn my attitude about the starting rotation into a more positive one. That's my positive take.
Listen, Kelsey, we've been talking about this the entire season, Kelsey. That rotation is just built of Bengay and vibes, okay? Bengay and vibes. That's all that's happening this season.
It's funny because I would normally think, like, I look at 83 wins and I'm like, what a joke. Of course, the national media is undervaluing the Cardinals again. But I look at 83 wins and I'm like, you know what? If this is what happens and they win the division with 83 wins, like, I won't be mad because it's so much freaking better than 71 win. Man, the thing that I don't necessarily I don't think the Cubs are going to be the closest. Listen, I do think this division will be the closest by far. So just before we run through the rest of these here, the Cardinals, they have at the top of the division winning 83 games. The Pirates, they have at the bottom winning 77. So that's not much of a gap. In the top three here, they have 83, 82, and 80 wins. So that's down to the last week of the season between three teams, competition here. And I guess I could see it that way. So the Cubs predicted to be 82 and 80. They lost Marcus Stroman. He opted out and, of course, went and signed with the Yankees. They did add Shota Imanaga to the starting rotation, who definitely has some promise coming over from the Japanese league. They signed Hector Neris to beef up their bullpen, and they traded for prospect Michael Busch as a promising first baseman of the future. They, of course, re-signed Cody Bellinger, which, reminder, does not make them better. They're just paying him more, and the chances of him having a season even as good as he did last season, I mean, that'd be awesome for Cubs fans and for Cody Bellinger, but we'll see. And perhaps it is that Craig Counsell managerial signing that will get more out of an otherwise very similar from last year team. What do you think? Are the Cubs better than they were last year?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. They do have that killer infield defense, in middle infield defense anyway, with Dansby Swanson and Nico Horner, which I'm very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
The Cubs having good defense. I
But
do
you
not
got
love
Christopher
it. I hate to
Morel at
admit it.
third.
Right. Third base has always been a problem for them. I mean, first base is not a super solid thing either.
They have Cody Bellinger projected to be their first baseman. So
Oh,
they have Cody
oh,
Bellinger as their first
yeah.
base and then Mike Talkman as their center fielder.
Okay.
And
I could see that, yeah, at least starting that way. I'm not sure how close Michael Busch is to if we'll see him even this season or if it really just depends on how things play out
they
with
have
other guys.
they have Michael Busch slated to be the DH.
Huh. Well,
So
we'll
that's
see.
the one that they got from the Dodgers, right?
Yeah.
That's who he came over? Okay. So I
I
don't
would
think they got better.
I love Craig Counsell. My heart was shattered. I was shocked beyond belief, maybe as much as I am to hear that Shohei Ohtani potentially has a gambling problem. When Craig Counsell signed with the Cubs, I love him so much and I want to root for him so hard. And obviously the Cubs are the number one team as a Cardinals fan that I just cannot root for. So I want him to be the difference. I want to play into this narrative that leadership and having the right manager matters. I want to see managers as a whole get recognized, appreciated, and paid more. But I don't know that they gave him the pieces to really take that club to the next level. So it might not be happening this year, is all I'm really saying. The other thing
Or
that's not
maybe
happening, go.
maybe that's the whole point. Maybe they're like, "All right, Craig Counsell, let's see what you really can do. Here's some mid
Yeah.
pieces. Go forth and do things."
He has done that over and over again with the Brewers, but I saw a post from MLB today on Twitter that was like, "Are the Brewers going to repeat as NL Central champs?" And I'm like, "Come on, MLB. Come on." LOL. The Brewers also predicted to be 80 and 82, right there with the Marlins and the Mets, finishing third in the Central Division, if Fangraphs is correct. As you may recall, they lost their ace, Corbin Burns, when they traded him away to the Orioles. They lost Woodruff, who was hurt, and then Adrian Hauser, who they traded to the Mets. And yeah, their dominant starting pitching was no doubt what got them to the postseason last year. And they simply won't have anywhere near that level of starting pitching to rely on in 24. So they've got Freddie Peralta, Wade Miley, Jacob Junis, Colin Ray, and DL Hall expected to round out a very different looking rotation. There is some excitement around prospects like Sal Frelick and Jackson Churio, along with the signing of free agent Reese Hoskins to look forward to for the Brewers fans this season. And their longtime bench coach, Pat Murphy, has been promoted to manager. He seems like a badass with such a fun personality. So I am looking forward to seeing him have the chance to lead the team this year. But do I think the Brewers are going to play 80-win ball? At best? That's where I'm at with it. Yeah, I think one of the most shocking things about the Central Division to me overall is that I never would have thought that in the turnover of one season that the Cardinals would have a better starting rotation than the Brewers, but I think they just might. I mean, I shouldn't say that too loud, but on paper,
Jacob Junis and Colin Ray are they're calling our number right now, and they're like, absolutely not, ladies.
Yeah,
like,
challenge accepted.
Okay, so if Jacob Junis and Colin Ray hear this for some reason, that they can come for us, that's fine.
We've got another team close behind, though, still sticking in this highly competitive yet less than thrilling Central Division. The Reds projected to win 79 games, 79-83. If you forgot, they added Candelario for infield depth, but did they need infield depth? I don't know.
Yeah, now they do, because legitimately everyone and their dog is fucking hurt now.
Really?
So many people are hurt.
Oh, geez.
So many people are hurt for the Reds now. I want to say Matt McClain just went in for an MRI with his shoulder. Ty Friedel.
Oh, yes,
just
TJ
got
Friedel.
hit by a pitch. TJ Friedel, thank you. Their shortstop just had to go down for like labrum surgery. I literally just saw it.
Candelario might be the answer. Maybe that's bigger than I thought it was when it happened a few weeks ago or so. But it's not to be forgot that they also signed starter Frankie Montas along with veteran pitchers Emilio Pagan and Nick Martinez. So ultimately, really what they did was like raise the floor for their young, talented roster. And The real question now is the timing right for the Reds to start to raise in the ranks with their young superstar talent like pitcher Hunter Green and infielder Ellie De La Cruz, because these are guys that are gaining national attention even on a team that is not winning. Things are going to start to click for the Reds, and that is what I am most concerned about for the Central Division, that like the Reds are going to catch up and make way sooner than predicted. So if I had to predict right now, I would say the Reds are winning or are a close second place for the Central Division.
See, and I would have thought that the Reds would be over with the moves that they made, and then that young core. But now that the young core is being hurt all the time, I don't even know. They have Mike Ford as their DH. That makes me despondent. Fat boy.
Oh yeah, this is a really good point.
Yes.
That Devin Williams
going down,
for the Brewers. And they are a team that with a lackluster offense could potentially play in a lot of close games, and that closer could be the difference maker. So
they have Abner Uribe, and apparently all closers are the same.
More or less.
Relievers are a dime a dozen. That's what I was told on Twitter. So
I think the Reds are maybe one of the most underestimated teams in baseball this year. And I said that last season too, because everyone was predicting that they were going to have another 100-loss season or whatever. And I think I said they were going to win at least 75 games, and they did. And yeah, I think they're also a team that is in a good position to make moves as needed before the break or before the deadline. And that's something that's easy to take for granted. But when you look at standings that are predicted to be this close, that could absolutely be the difference maker. The Pirates are close enough, but not as close. Projected for 77-85 record. They did add DH and left-handed bat Rowdy Tellez. He's a fun guy to have on any team. Looking forward to seeing him with the Pirates, along with a ragtag group of pitchers in Martin Perez, Marco Gonzalez, and everybody's favorite, Aroldis Chapman. They signed their starter, Mitch Keller, to an exciting extension, and they have a young rising star shortstop that I don't want you to forget about. If you forgot about O'Neal Cruz because he only played in 9 games last season, he is back, he is healthy, and he's going to be so fun to watch play, especially alongside Andrew McCutchen, who is one of the most beloved players in all of baseball right now. Tom, what's up?
Yay, baseball!
Yay,
hooray!
baseball.
Tom joined us. Okay, so now just in time, because I'm about to pose a question.
I love it.
Which shortstop Cruz is going to have a better season?
I just saw O'Neal Cruz go nuts, and before he got hurt, he was going nuts.
Yeah.
So give me O'Neal Cruz, because as much as I thought Ellie, and I still think Ellie's great, I think he slowed down a little bit. He tapered off, where O'Neal Cruz is a freak of nature, in my opinion. I think the Reds have a better team.
Yeah.
But I think if you just give me 1 for 1, I think O'Neal is going to be the better. I would take that bet. I would bet for better numbers from O'Neal.
I agree. I think he's more ready to be more competitive at the major league level. Now,
let's go.
I totally forgot about that. Dang it.
We talked about this.
I know. You didn't remind us.
We also talked about all of us being here at 8 o'clock, Tom. So
yeah, Tom.
You win some, you lose some.
We're all even then. We're all even. Danville Dairy Daddies, baby.
We all have the same Dairy Daddy shirt, so we have to wear them on an episode together soon. Well, Tom, just to catch you up, we've gone through the NL East. We have gone through the NL Central, and now we're getting to the NL West with the team that everybody is talking about for one reason or another. The Dodgers are, of course, predicted to win the NL West, but not maybe as many wins as I guess we would have thought. 93-69 is their projected record. If you need me to remind you all of the things that the Dodgers did in the offseason, they added Ohtani's bat. They added Teoscar Hernandez in the outfield. Jason Hayward is back after a bounce back year in 2023. They got a couple of young prospects from the Cubs in that Michael Busch trade. And, the pitching. Yeah, they added Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who is quite likely has every opportunity and reality to be not just a number 1, Susie, but an ace, I would say. And Tyler Glass now to their rotation. They brought back Joe Kelly, and they added James Paxton's arm as well. And we all see those 3 MVPs at the top of their lineup. They've got young Gavin Lux and his bat, even though he has struggled to return to form defensively at shortstop. So Mookie Betts, totally fine, just like seasoned veteran, going to move to shortstop in the ultimate team player move, because puts him out of his element. Certainly not ideal for him, but he can do it all. And it looked good in the first game of the season today. So Lux is going to play second. It is, quote, permanent for now. And then they also brought back utility man Kike Hernandez for bench depth and all the vibes. What do we think?
Immaculate dance moves.
Yes.
Immaculate dance. 162-0, baby. 162-0. Okay, that's what the Dodgers is doing.
I'm drinking.
Perfect.
We got
done and done.
If you disagree with something that someone says, you have to take a drink. So I'm drinking because I do not think the Dodgers are going to go 162-0.
I mean, if everybody did not realize that was sarcasm and that is what I'm known for, then welcome to the show.
You were trying to get us to drink.
That's true. I mean, it's fun, and we haven't done it in quite some time, and we might as well. But can I just read you the list of pitchers that are on the IL right now
Yes,
for the
please.
Dodgers? Let's Walker Buehler, Tony Gonsolin, Clayton Kershaw,
Not Tony Gonsolin.
Dustin May, Emmett Sheehan, Brusdar Graterol, Blake Trinan. They have an entire rotation and a half just chilling on the IL.
Damn, you're right.
Brusdar for shoulder inflammation, Blake Trinan for a bruised lung. Tom, I texted this in the group, and Tom said that it was like very big injury in football. Well, we're in baseball, people. Like, what's
Sure.
happening? So, did like a comebacker hit Blake Trinan at some point in time? Like in the chat, like how do you get a bruised lung? I understand a bruised rib, but how do you get a bruised lung? Like the ribs, if I'm correct in my anatomy, which it's been a long time, don't the ribs protect the lungs, or am I wrong?
Yeah, but if rib hits lung, bruised rib or bruised lung.
If the rib hits the lung, are we not puncturing the lung? What's happening?
Yeah, I don't know.
I should have asked my brother about this. He's a respiratory therapist. I'm sure he knows. I'll ask
Oh.
him if I get a response while we're on. I'll let
Okay.
you know. He definitely will know.
People in the chat. Do I have any Dodgers fans? Do I have anybody in the chat that like knows what I'm talking about right now? Because I need help. I was gonna Google, and then I saw something shiny, and it left my brain. But the fact that they have a literal rotation and a half is on the IL is just ridiculous. Gavin Stone won the fifth starter. He just looks stupid, dumb, good, and that makes me mad.
I think the thing that I am on the watch for from the Dodgers pitching specifically this season is the number of innings that they get from individual guys. And maybe to your point, that will matter less because they have so much depth, especially potentially in the second half of the season. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I like to think they're just not going to be as completely dominant as we think. But the other thing that I am excited to watch with Ohtani specifically is I think we're going to see him show off his speed a little bit more that he's not got being on the mound to focus on. And I think that could be really fun.
How many bags do you think he steals this season?
How many did he steal last season? I don't know if that's even comparable to
30. Wasn't he a 30-30 guy?
I don't think so. Let's see if I can.
The real question is, are the Dodgers going to run? I don't know with that lineup that they're going to turn around and go, oh, well, let's put everybody in motion. I imagine they're probably going to be more traditional and just let them hit each other around the bags. If Ohtani wants to run, he could steal over 30, no problem. If they're more reserved to going, hey, we've got a really good hitter at the plate, let's not send him, then it'll probably be around 20, like you said. Can we take a moment to not like Mookie Betts? I just don't want to like him. And the reason is he's absolutely friggin' good at everything. He should not be allowed to be good at everything. He bowls a 300 game. Yeah. He can dunk a basketball. He can catch passes in football. And now he can play every position on the diamond. I don't know.
Isn't Mookie Betts like 5'8"?
Doesn't matter.
Mookie Betts is 5'8".
He can dunk a basketball. It's stupid how talented Mookie Betts is. It's not fair. And I just don't want to like him for that reason.
I agree with you.
He seems like a nice guy too.
Yeah.
Another reason I don't want to like him. Like,
how dare you seem also like you have a good personality?
Be a villain at least.
Mookie Betts. Clip this. Yeah. No. Here's what I do want to say, Tom, and this might make you feel a little bit better, is that I have heard the national media talking recently about how Mookie Betts might be the second Major League Baseball player ever to win a Gold Glove in both the outfield and the infield during his career. And what I say to that is, have you heard of Tommy Edman? Susie, I know you have. He could be the second player in all of Major League Baseball to win a Gold Glove. He has won one at second base, and I believe he could very realistically win one in center field if he gets healthy. That is my truth. I'll drink.
I mean, if the Astros had their way, Mauricio Dubon would be right up there with that competition.
Really?
Okay.
So, of all the people,
I gotta drink again.
The last person in this chat that I thought would bring up Mauricio Dubon, noted center fielder, would be Susie.
Listen, I'm still okay. When we talk about the Astros, I'm still gonna be salty about how
I'm gonna need another beer. That's what's gonna happen when we get there.
We gotta get through this NL West, and we're done talking about the Dodgers. Let's move on. Diamondbacks, baby. Snakes is on. Let's go. The Diamondbacks are projected to have an 83-79 season, which is just one different than what they had last season. I believe they were 84-78, that NLCS pennant winning year. Here's the thing. They got better. They got to the World Series, and then they weren't like, we're going to step back. We're going to save our money and just count our dollars and enjoy it. No, they went out and they signed Eugenio Suarez at third base. They signed Eduardo Rodriguez to fill out their starting rotation. They signed Jock Peterson, huge upgrade, power bat for their lineup. So with Jock Peterson and Eugenio Suarez, that lineup is so much deeper than it was in the World freaking Series, where they were highly competitive last year. They, of course, retained Lourdes Gurriel Jr., along with many young, exciting players that I truly believe we have only started to see the best from. And I say that it is Snakes revenge season because the national media is still trashing and ragging on this team like they did not deserve to be in the playoffs, let alone the World Series last season. And I'm just so tired of that narrative.
To be fair, though, like literally nobody expected the D-backs to do anything last season. And so
you guys were on them before anybody.
Thank you.
Cheers.
I think so
Cheers,
too.
because we know ball. Known ball knowers.
They taught me the
known ball
backs,
knowers.
so I got to give y'all the flowers there because I was over there going, what are they talking about? And then I start looking, then I start watching, like, all right, they're pretty good. They took down the Dodgers.
Absolutely. They took down the mighty Phillies.
I want to think so bad that the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks are going to be much closer than 10 games apart when this all is said and done. And that's what I'm looking for. And I truly do believe, maybe that's my heart talking instead of my head, but I do believe that they will be a lot closer. The Giants are actually.
Wait, hold on.
Go ahead.
Urias just went down, though. I don't know about how long, though.
Oh.
We're hoping not long, but he had to leave his last minor league start. And Torey Lovullo is hopeful that he will be on the opening day roster, but not counting on it. I'm all, what are we doing, Torey? Like, why is that your quote, sir? So
I mean, it's probably honest. It's the best we can ask for, honestly.
Yeah.
But no, I just think that guys like Gabby Moreno and Alec Thomas, like they had just started to scratch the surface. Like even Corbin Carroll was a freaking rookie. Come on. They are going to settle in and they have so much to play for that they've still got that fire. I just think we've yet to see the best of nearly every player on that team. And that's really exciting.
Yeah, and then Randall Grichuk they signed as well to platoon with
that's right.
Randall Grichuk just had ankle surgery, I want to say, so I don't know how long he's down for. So they have a rookie though that is making all kinds of waves. Blaze Alexander.
Blaze, yeah.
Legitimately, he was aptly named because he's been tearing the cover off the ball. I don't know if he ends up making it because he's been really pushing hard. So we shall see what happens with that. Astro War Craig says maybe D-backs won't have any gambling scandals.
Maybe. And they will rise the ranks. Yeah, you never know. Okay, I have a Snakes Alive shirt. If the Diamondbacks get into the playoffs in 2024, will you two get Snakes Alive shirts and we can all wear those too?
I'll buy it right now.
Absolutely.
I don't need the playoffs. I'll do it right now. I'm not scared.
Oh, I have legitimately only one other piece of other team gear.
Yeah.
Okay. Besides the Astros, I have one. And that is a Diamondback shirt. And it says, "We're fucking dangerous," with a rattlesnake.
Oh, yes, I've seen it. Okay, let me ask you this. If you had to buy a Diamondbacks player's jersey, you can only buy one. Whose name are you getting on the back?
Don't do that to me. That hurts my soul.
So that's where I'll buy a shirt. A jersey is like ownership, and I'm Astro to the core.
Okay, so but if someone was going to give you a free one.
I would.
Gurriel.
I think that.
And I could tie it together.
Yes.
You could tie it together. I'm going to have to go with my Asian brethren. I'm going to have to go Corbin Carroll. And the fact that he'll be a Diamondback for a while. So
yeah, I would have a really hard time picking between. I am obsessed with Lourdes Gurriel Jr. I just absolutely love him. Like no matter what team he was on, I would follow him anywhere. But I really like Gabby Moreno a lot too. And I have a fondness and appreciation for catchers. So yeah, that would be tough. I also think it's tough that the San Francisco Giants are predicted to have the same record as the Diamondbacks, 83-79. I do see that a little bit more realistically as of late. They signed Blake Snell, of course. They also signed Jordan Hicks, who they're going to give a shot to as a starter. And that trade for Robbie Ray, who is expected to come back and could be a difference maker for them the second half of the season. They signed third baseman Matt Chapman and DH Jorge Soler. They also, don't forget it, signed Korean star center fielder Jung-Hoo Lee. You guys, did the Giants do it? Did they have an offseason?
I think they did.
No, because you know who their shortstop is? You know who their shortstop is? Their shortstop is Nick Ahmed, who the Diamondbacks fucking DFA'd last season. They were like, I'm sorry, Nick Ahmed. We know that you've been here for, 11 years, but you got to get the fuck out. They DFA'd him in the middle of the season. And they called up the young guy. They were like, let's go. You come up. And then they were like, oh, just kidding. Geraldo Perdomo, come be over here. Giants fans, can you honestly, legitimately tell me that you are happy with your position players? You signed Matt Chapman for third base. You have Jung-Hoo Lee. You have the two Mikes in the corner, Conforto and Yastrzemski. Maybe
it's not a bad lineup though.
Like they almost made the playoffs last season.
And that 1-2 at the top. Say what you want about Blake Snell, because I will at a later point. When he wants to be, he's good. When he wants to be, he's good. I think that this team is at least going to be dangerous. I don't know if they're going to be good, but they, on paper, they should be able to play with anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Blake Snell actually is a great fit for the Giants. He is less pedestrian, and everything about the way the Giants approach to winning, at least as of late, is very less pedestrian, is a nice way to say it. But yeah, I just want them to be more fun to watch.
He will be the prettiest cheerleader in the room, okay?
Congrats, you've done it. Head cheerleader, Blake Snell. Anyway, the Padres are projected to finish 4th in this NL West with an 81-81, right at 500 record. Of course, they traded Juan Soto to the Yankees, but they did get a good haul of pitchers along with catcher Kyle Higashioka. I'm like, I can say this one. Too much hard kombucha. That's what it does for you. Kyle Higashioka. In return, they pulled off a trade for starting pitcher Dylan Cease, which has been all the talk as of late. And if he returns to 2022 form, I mean, he could be a major difference maker this season for the Padres. They made scrappy bullpen moves like signing Wusako, Yuki Matsui, and Wandy Peralta. Didn't work out super great for them today, but it's only one game after losing, of course, superstar closer Josh Hader to free agency. They did re-sign Jurickson Profar to play in the outfield, and then they have so many shortstops, including Xander Bogaerts, Ha-Seong Kim, and 20-year-old Jackson Merrill, who I didn't even realize is actually by trade a shortstop. So here's how it goes. All the shortstops, Bogaerts is going to play second, Kim is at short, and Merrill seems to now be their starting center fielder. So if anything,
legitimately, everybody is a converted center fielder.
Really have some opportunity in the outfield there. I don't know. Is that like the biggest thing that's lacking for the Padres? I mean, they have Tatis out there, but the other two guys are like probably not everyday major league outfielders.
Jurickson Profar is defense first, obviously. Like, he's a pretty good outfielder. Jackson Merrill, I think, is going to be sneaky good. I mean, he's young. I think you said he was 20. I thought
20.
Maybe did he just turn 20?
Quite possibly.
Because I want to say he was like 19, but yeah, super young. And I think he came up when he was like 17. Him and like Ethan Salas were hanging out being fucking tutored. It's still in like high school. You're all, oh, okay. You're supposed to be going to like senior prom, not being drafted and getting bonus signings. Bonus.
I need that on a shirt.
It's not.
I want all the bonus.
It's good. It's not like who is Tyler Wade? I was all, Tyler Wade, where did you come from? Like over here. I don't know. Jay Cronenworth, maybe we need to tighten up our gloves before the game. I'm just saying. We double, triple check that. Okay. Then maybe it won't cost you a game. I'm really sad that this team is going to be 4th.
Yeah, I think this is a good time to make my overall prediction, even though we haven't gotten to the last team in this division yet.
Do we really need to talk about the last team ain't gonna do shit?
Not really.
I'm very sorry, Rockies fans.
Well, my overall prediction for the NL West is I do think it is going to be a closer race than what Fangraphs has projected. There may only be 2, maybe 3 teams that are closer, but I do think it will be closer. There's a lot of potential here. And I don't know, the Padres are like the Mets last season for me, of where I think they've had to be more strategic. They've had to take a different approach, but they still have some of those guys that they paid a shitload of money to. And if you can find the middle ground with both, with having to be scrappy and strategic and also having some guys you spent big money on, I mean, those are the teams that come out into the playoffs. So I'm not saying that I think the Padres are a playoff team, but I don't think they're good. Yeah, I think they'll be at least a 500 club. I think there's every reason to believe so. And I don't think they like got that much worse.
Well, and everyone's, oh, but they lost Juan Soto. Okay, but look what you did with Juan Soto. Surely it can't. I mean, I don't know. And I feel like maybe that was part of the issue because there is way too many pretty cheerleaders in the room. And then again, if you're all hot, nobody's fucking hot. Okay, so maybe now there's one less. Well, I guess 2 less hot girls in the room now, and so now maybe the others can shine just a little bit more. But you know, Ha-Seong Kim being the hottest of them all, just putting it out there.
Listen,
Fernando Tatis Jr. fans are like, what the fuck, Susie? You don't know
all of them.
Okay.
All of them, yeah. They canceled you. The minute you said that. Like, my head says the Dodgers run away with this thing. My heart wants this to be an absolute bloodbath where they're all really like in the middle, beat each other to death. Because like you said, what they were able to do with Juan Soto, turning him into Dylan Cease, a bunch of prospects, Higgy for depth, and all these things might have been addition by subtraction.
Yeah.
And I think Susie was saying that. And then you look at what San Francisco did, and we feel the Snakes are going to be good. So like they could all just beat each other's brains in, and it could be like all really close. 2 games separate 1 through 4. And we're talking about them getting 3 teams into the playoffs.
Let's go. I love that prediction. Okay, I am going to mention the Rockies to wrap up our National League preview here. The Rockies, 64 and 98. What did the Rockies do this offseason? They signed Jacob Stallings, who was a former catcher for the Marlins. He is a Gold Glove catcher. I think he's going to be actually maybe their backup catcher, but he is really good at working with pitchers, especially young guys. He's had a great track record there. So I'm interested to see what kind of work he does in that vein specifically and working with a lot of their younger pitchers. And then they signed Dakota Hudson, formerly of the Cardinals, who is a ground ball starting pitcher together. But
I forgot they signed Cal Quantrill.
Okay, I'm looking for a comeback here from Cal. Have either of you ever been to a Rockies game?
No, but I hear it's a
No.
must do.
That's the thing. I hear the vibes are just immaculate, but I haven't been.
I would need a lot of oxygen. I'm a unfit individual, okay? And I pant when I go upstairs, okay? So I'm pretty sure I will just have a heart attack and die in Colorado.
The Rockies are just an anomaly to me because Bud Black, their manager, seems like a guy that's easy to root for. He seems like he's able to keep the culture in the clubhouse like really positive when all of these guys know that the organization is setting them up to fail. Can we just not do the Netflix documentary on the Red Sox and just do it on the Rockies instead and follow Bud Black around?
Did y'all know that Daniel Bard went down with arthroscopic knee surgery?
That's Daniel Bard, ladies and gentlemen.
Daniel, if Daniel Bard's name is, you're all, why do I recognize the name Daniel Bard? That's the guy who hit Altuve in the World Baseball Classics. That's the relief pitcher. But I say that because he was an actual very good relief pitcher, just not in that instance, obviously. But I didn't realize that he went down with knee surgery. That's crazy. Herman Marquez went down with TJ last season, which was their literal only good starting pitcher. Cal Quantrill's just punching air right now. So he went down May of 23. So I don't know. When is that? What is the turnaround time for TJ? Like, it doesn't say when.
I think TJ is like a year to a year and a half. I think that's.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle there.
Okay.
Yeah, especially for a pitcher. It's not like he's going to be trying to get back with the bat in his hands. Well, that's
so who comes out of the NL then? Tell me who comes out of the NL. Who is the NLCS champion for next season?
On paper, it's the Dodgers. You hope it's not.
I'm not asking on paper. I'm asking in your heart plus vibes, sir.
The Braves of Atlanta.
I think the Phillies. Okay. I want it to be the Diamondbacks again, but I wouldn't be mad at all if it was the Phillies.
I know one thing. If the Diamondbacks even sniff it, you ladies will be letting the world know.
Yes. Yeah. But oh my God, if it was the Astros and the Diamondbacks, I would die. I would like legitimately just die.
Pass away. I will, if it's an Astros Diamondbacks World Series, I will come to Houston dressed as a snake for invest in the snake costume.
It's got to be an orange snake costume.
Okay.
You have to
for the bourbon and baseball faithful that are Astros fans, I will be fully decked out as an Astro fan. There is no snake love when it comes to those two at all. It'll set Astros.
Astros are number one in my heart. Okay. It is number one in my heart. But the D-backs are like a distant two, and it would hurt. It would hurt my soul. I would still be rooting for the Astros, but it would hurt my soul.
Yeah.
Okay. Marmol extension seals the deal.
That's it.
I forgot. That's what the Cardinals needed was.
Yeah, I forgot to mention
the Ollie Marmol signing
of the offseason. Hey, I'm not mad about it like a lot of other fans are, but hey, you never know. It could be the thing that sets the tone, the vibes. It could be the difference maker. There, who knows?
The Bengay vibes.
I want to.
He is the same age pitchers. Like, what are we doing?
He is. He is. Also the same age as my husband. So I've really been every day I check with him. Just like, you sure you don't want to fly down to Jupiter? I can look at flights. Let's just send you down and give it a shot. He's pretty athletic. He could probably stand as good a shot as anybody.
Run it up there, huh?
If he have him work on a knuckleball, one of the pitchers for the Padres is a knuckleballer. Waldron, thank you. It was Waldron. Waldron has a mean knuckleball. Could be a thing. So are we ready to talk about the AL?
Well, tell us who you think is going to be the pennant, NL pennant.
Nobody? I don't want anybody from the NL.
Has to play the Astros. I mean, has to play the American League.
Okay, fine. I want it to be the D-backs. I want it to be the D-backs. I think realistically, it will probably be the Braves.
They're built, man.
I want it to be the D-backs.
I missed that. I hate that I missed that, but I love everything the Braves have done.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you can't deny it. All right, hit us up with that AL East, baby.
Okay. So, well, in the chat, if you guys have predictions, who do you think will be the NLCS winner, will come out victorious? Put it in the comments and let us know. Holler at us. I was going to say holler at your girls, but Tom is now here, so that no longer works.
Remember, we'll give you a shout out if you're right 6 months from now.
So, in the